Murder and violence. Violence was a central component of the Lodani clan's operations, and they were known for their willingness to use murder as a tool to achieve their goals. The clan's reputation for brutality was well earned, as they were responsible for numerous assassinations, bombings, and other acts of violence over the years. One of the most infamous incidents in the clan's history was the murder of a prominent anti-mafia judge in the 1990s. The judge had been leading an investigation into the Lodani clan's activities and had come dangerously close to uncovering key evidence that could have led to the clan's downfall. In response, Vittorio Lodani ordered the judge's assassination, sending a clear message to anyone who dared to challenge the clan's power. The Lodani Clan, a history of crime and power in Italy. Introduction. The Lodani Clan, a feared and powerful criminal organization based in Italy, has a long history rooted in violence, extortion, drug trafficking, and murder. Emerging from the chaotic aftermath of World War II, the clan grew from a small group of ruthless individuals into one of the most formidable criminal entities in the country. The story of the Lodani clan is one of ambition, brutality, and a relentless pursuit of power, marked by their control over local communities, dominance in the drug trade, and a legacy of bloodshed. Origins and early years. The origins of the Lodani clan can be traced back to the late 1940s in southern Italy, a region plagued by poverty, corruption, and lawlessness. In this post-war period, the Italian government struggled to maintain control over the country, leaving a power vacuum that was quickly filled by criminal organizations. The Lodani clan was founded by Vittorio Lodani, a charismatic and ruthless figure who saw an opportunity to rise to power amidst the chaos. Vittorio Lodani was born in 1920 in a small village in Calabria, a region known for its rugged terrain and fiercely independent people. The son of a poor farmer, Vittorio grew up in a world where survival often depended on one's ability to navigate the harsh realities of life. From a young age, he was exposed to the violence and corruption that permeated the region, and he quickly learned the importance of strength and cunning in a world where the rule of law was often ignored. During World War II, Vittorio served in the Italian army, where he honed his skills in combat and leadership. After the war, he returned to his village, only to find it in even greater disarray than before. The local government was weak, and criminal groups were vying for control of the region. Sensing an opportunity, Vittorio began to gather a group of loyal followers, many of whom were former soldiers or disenfranchised youths looking for a way to escape poverty. By the early 1950s, the Lodani clan had established itself as a force to be reckoned with in Calabria. They began by engaging in petty crimes such as theft and smuggling, but it wasn't long before they expanded their operations to include more lucrative activities such as extortion and drug trafficking. Vittorio proved to be a shrewd and ruthless leader, using violence and intimidation to eliminate rivals and consolidate his power. Rise to power. The 1960s and 1970s were a period of rapid growth and expansion for the Lodani clan. As Italy experienced an economic boom, the demand for illegal goods and services skyrocketed, providing the clan with ample opportunities to expand their operations. The Lodani clan quickly became involved in the burgeoning drug trade, establishing connections with international suppliers and distributing narcotics throughout Italy and beyond. One of the key factors in the clan's success was their ability to maintain tight control over their territory. The Lodani clan operated with a strict code of silence, known as omerta, which ensured that members remained loyal and that outsiders were kept in the dark about the clan's activities. Those who dared to betray the clan or interfere with their operations were met with swift and brutal retribution. Vittorio Lodani's leadership was marked by his ability to forge alliances with other criminal organizations while simultaneously eliminating potential threats. He cultivated relationships with corrupt politicians, law enforcement officials, and business leaders, ensuring that the clan's activities were protected and that they had access to valuable resources. At the same time, he ordered the assassinations of rival gang leaders and anyone who posed a threat to the clan's dominance. By the 1980s, the Lodani clan had become one of the most powerful criminal organizations in Italy. They controlled large swaths of territory in Calabria, Campania, and Sicily, and their influence extended into major cities such as Naples, Rome, and Milan. The clan's wealth grew exponentially as they expanded their operations into international drug trafficking, money laundering, and arms smuggling. The drug trade. The Lodani clan's involvement in the drug trade was one of the primary sources of their wealth and power. In the 1970s and 1980s, the global demand for narcotics, particularly heroin and cocaine, surged. The Lodani clan capitalized on this demand by establishing themselves as major players in the international drug trade, forging connections with suppliers in South America, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. The clan's drug trafficking operations were highly organized and efficient. They utilized a vast network of couriers, smugglers, and distributors to transport and sell drugs across Italy and Europe. The Lodani clan also controlled key ports and transportation routes, allowing them to move large quantities of narcotics with relative ease. One of the most significant aspects of the Lodani clan's drug trade was their ability to maintain a low profile while amassing enormous profits. Unlike some other criminal organizations, the Lodani clan avoided flashy displays of wealth and power, instead choosing to operate in the shadows. This allowed them to evade law enforcement scrutiny and continue their operations with minimal interference. However, the clan's involvement in the drug trade also brought them into conflict with other criminal organizations. The competition for control of the lucrative drug market led to violent clashes between the Lodani clan and rival groups, resulting in a series of bloody turf wars that claimed the lives of many members on both sides. Despite these challenges, the Lodani clan remained a dominant force in the drug trade, thanks in large part to their ability to adapt to changing circumstances. When law enforcement agencies cracked down on traditional smuggling routes, the clan quickly developed new methods for transporting drugs, including using small boats, private planes, and even drones. Their ingenuity and ruthlessness allowed them to stay ahead of the authorities and maintain their position as one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in Italy. Extortion and control of territory. In addition to their involvement in the drug trade, the Lodani clan also relied heavily on extortion as a means of generating income and exerting control over their territory. The clan's extortion operations were highly sophisticated and often targeted local businesses, politicians, and wealthy individuals. The Lodani clan's method of extortion typically involved offering protection to businesses in exchange for regular payments. Those who refused to pay were subjected to threats, violence, and property damage. In many cases, the clan would stage attacks on businesses that refused to cooperate, only to offer their protection services in the aftermath. The clan's control over territory was enforced through a combination of fear and loyalty. Members of the Lodani clan were expected to adhere to a strict code of conduct, and those who violated the code were punished severely. At the same time, the clan provided for its members and their families, offering financial support, protection, and a sense of belonging. The Lodani clan also maintained a network of informants and spies within local communities, ensuring that they were always aware of potential threats and opportunities. This allowed them to quickly respond to challenges and maintain their grip on power. Murder and violence was a central component of the Lodani clan's operations, and they were known for their willingness to use murder as a tool to achieve their goals. The clan's reputation for brutality was well earned, as they were responsible for numerous assassinations, bombings, and other acts of violence over the years. One of the most infamous incidents in the clan's history was the murder of a prominent anti-mafia judge in the 1990s. The judge had been leading an investigation into the Lodani clan's activities and had come dangerously close to uncovering key evidence that could have led to the clan's downfall. In response, Vittorio Lodani ordered the judge's assassination, sending a clear message to anyone who dared to challenge the clan's power. The murder of the judge sparked outrage across Italy and led to a major crackdown on the Lodani clan and other criminal organizations. However, despite the increased law enforcement pressure, the clan continued to operate, adapting to the changing circumstances and finding new ways to maintain their power. Over the years, the Lodani clan was involved in numerous other acts of violence, including the elimination of rival gang members, the execution of informants, and the intimidation of witnesses. Their use of violence was not limited to their enemies. Even members of the clan who were suspected of disloyalty or incompetence were often killed to maintain discipline and deter others from betraying the organization. The modern era and decline. The 21st century brought new challenges for the Lodani clan as law enforcement agencies around the world intensified their efforts to combat organized crime. Advances in technology, increased international cooperation, and the rise of new criminal organizations all posed significant threats to the clan's operations. Despite these challenges, the Lodani clan managed to survive and adapt, continuing their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, and other criminal activities. However, the clan's power began to wane as law enforcement agencies successfully targeted key members and disrupted their operations. One of the most significant blows to the Lodani clan came in the early 2010s, when a series of high-profile arrests led to the capture of several top leaders, including Vittorio Lodani's son, Antonio Lodani. Antonio had taken over the leadership of the clan following his father's death in the late 1990s, and his arrest marked a turning point in the clan's fortunes. The arrests were the result of years of painstaking investigation by Italian law enforcement, who had managed to infiltrate the clan and gather critical evidence of their criminal activities. The subsequent trials led to the conviction of numerous clan members and the dismantling of many of their operations. In the years that followed, the Lodani clan struggled to maintain its power and influence. The loss of key leaders, coupled with increased law enforcement pressure, led to a decline in the clan's activities. While